Hello everybody, it's Julia Laird with Senior Susie Stamps, and last fall when I was recuperating from some surgery I started going through my Take 10 and Stampers samplers looking for some inspiration, and so I have marked several of them with different little tags for sketch ideas and tech ideas to share with you at some point. And so now I'm kind of ready to go back through these and pick out what I want to do over the next several months. And I need some little markers because these are kind of all the same. So today I wanted to look at some covered paper clips, which I know are fairly common. There's a lot of videos out there on the YouTube channels about covered paper clips, but I just thought I would share with you today what I'm doing in my studio. And so these are some that I made fairly quickly, and it's just a real simple little procedure. I stamped both sides of this one. Some of them I've stamped, and some of them I have used stickers. These are stickers, and on these they were 3D, and I pulled the top layer off because on my little paper clip things I want them to be kind of flat as much as possible, and I also want them to have some kind of little ribbon to pull off with because it's just handy for me to do. So on these two I just used a couple of butterflies from the Dollar Tree, and this was a circle that I folded in half and made kind of a little faux butterfly shape, if you will, to use. And then this one was a punch, and I just punched two pieces. Some of these are folded in half, some of them are just glued up, not folded in half, and it doesn't really matter to me how they are done as long as I'm effectively using the paper to put them together with. And one thing that I try to remember to do, and I didn't do with this one, is to stretch the paper clip just a tiny little bit. You don't have to do much, but just a little small bit, and that makes putting them on a whole lot easier. Now there's several ways to do this, and to me there's a real easy, straightforward way, and there's a complicated way. And the complicated way to me is to wrap them around like this and then try to fold that up underneath of it while you're trying to glue it and take care of it and all that stuff. I don't like making them that way, so that's not what we're going to do today. We're going to do a real straightforward, easy way to do. I'm going to do a large one. Well, I guess you'd classify that as a super jumbo paper clip. This is a large one to me, and those are classified, I think, as 2-inch paper clips. They're actually just a little bit shy of 2 inches. And then this is a standard paper clip, and it is 1 1/4 inches. So I have used all of those in different bookmarks over the years, and they all work very well. This one you do have to be a little careful with because it will dent your paper fairly easily. So I always try to put just a little bit of a work on that hinge there so it's a little easier to move before I put my little modified paperclip thing together. But this is what we're going to use today for that one. And I've already got a couple of little images stamped and colored on one that I cut out with this punch for the smaller paper clip. And then I've got one that's folded over, and all I did was to use this as the header, and then I made it a little bit longer so that I could use a full-size standard large paper clip in it. So let's get started, because I like to make these with my hot glue gun, and I'll need to turn that on. And I take 2 pieces of scrap white paper that are smaller than what your outside is going to be. And you can make these any size. You can make them out of whatever you want to make them out of. But I just like to have this piece be a little smaller than what I'm going to put on the outside. And then I feed that up onto my paper clip. And I try not to take the entire throat out of that paper clip, so I'm going to turn this, because I like to have, as I said, a little pull string with mine, and that's going to go up in the upper part of this clip. Let me check that and make sure. I'm going to trim just a little bit off of the side of this because I think that paper is just a touch too wide. There we go. And then what I try to do is to make sure that my clip is centered on whatever that little paper is that I'm going to use in there. And this is just standard cardstock, as these are also. They could be anything, but I like to use standard cardstock on the inside of these. Now, I'm going to do this one side at a time, just as soon as my hot glue gun heats up. Okay, we're good to go now. And I'm going to feed some glue all the way across. Not too much now, but I like to get it at the top and at the bottom and on the sides. And then I'm going to place it down on top of one of my layers, just right like that, and hold it until that glue cools. And then I'm going to check and make sure that I didn't get any glue up underneath here, because that will prevent you from being able to open your paper clip and put it on your book. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some glue coming across this way, and up the sides, and then I'm going to put my second little piece on right like that and hold it till it gets cool. And there we are. Now on this one, this was a smaller paper clip, and I'm going to have to reach down in there and get some baker's twine on that. And I forgot to get my baker's twine, so oh no, it's right here. I think I used this color with it, and possibly this color with it. I'll do a twofer. And I don't need a whole lot. You don't need a lot of stuff hanging out of your books or magazines here. And I do the same little tie off that we always do for tags, and I'll feed that through. I should have already done this before I glued this one together, but you can still do it. It'll be alright. I just stick my little tweezers down in there and reach in and grab and pull. I got one. And there's the other one. And then I'll just even up the ends and straighten my paper back out and feed it through and pull it snug. And there's one little paper clip done, and that's fine. And I could go ahead and tie a little knot in there if I wanted to. You certainly don't have to, but I'm going to cut those a little bit shorter than what they are now, but not too short, because I want to be able to reach in there and grab hold of one. Okay, so that's the one where it is not folded. It was 2 pieces put together, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. Now, when I cut that one, I used my little hole punch here and marked the center of it and punched a hole so that the end of my paper clip will expose itself when I put it together. So what I want to do now is to center my paper clip. There we go. And get it straight. And then I'm going to put my first layer of glue. And when I'm doing these, I do the large side first. That gives it a little more grab. on your project. And then I'm going to set this up, snug it up into that hole, and place it like that. And hold it for just a second for the glue to grab hold. And then check my bottom. There we go. And then I can glue this other side down right here. Now on this one, I thought since I didn't have something stamped for it, I would try to pull a sticker. And I got some pineapples. And I'm going to take this and pull it apart just a little bit to make it easier to go on whatever project I'm going to put it on. And then I'm going to pull some stickers. And I think these little guys here will be just about perfect for that. One on each side. But in order to use these, I don't want them to be three-dimensional, so I'm going to pull the foam off. And sometimes that foam comes off really, really easily, and sometimes you have to kind of work with it a little bit, and that's okay, either way. But you can get it off typically. And then I'm going to take this top layer and take it off. Try not to tear anything up. There we go. And I'm going to take the foam out of that one as well. And then I'm going to glue this straight down onto the sticker again. Just, you'll get the 3D effect of the two pieces together. It'll add a little bit of structure to your paper clip. But you don't have the bulk that way. So I'm just going to glue this down with some art glitter glue. And there we go. And I'm going to do the same thing to this one because this one's going to go on the back. You can add little sentiments to this if you want to. You can either stamp them or use some pre-stamped sentiments if you'd like. I like to kind of include these every once in a while with some birthday cards for some folks that I know that read a lot or that might enjoy a little bookmark. Just going to glue that down flat, and you can tell that there's a little extra dimension there when you look at it. Now I'm going to get some green ribbon to go on that, and that little paper clip is pushed up enough that you can thread your ribbon through very easily that way. And I'm just going to pull it through and tie it like you would a tag back onto itself that way, and that pretty well covers up your paper clip end. And I'm going to cut the ends off a little bit. And then I'm just going to glue my pineapple faces on. It doesn't get any easier than that. And I may go ahead and put a little line around the outside on these, or you could have put some blue clouds on there, or whatever you wanted to do. But right now, just to show you how these are done for me in my studio, that's it. And then I'm going to hold them till they dry, and we'll go on to the next one, which is the big one. The big ones can be a little more problematic just because they're thick and you have to put more hot glue on them, and it takes a little bit longer for them to dry, to cool down and get stuck that way. Okay, so that one's ready to go. Now this one does have a little dimension on there, and I think because it's so big and flat, I'm going to leave that. I took all the dimension off of this and I glued that flower back down flat, and I got this little bit of embossed piece out of my scrap bin, so it's a good use of scraps. Now, let's see. What do we have here that will fit? And I think this will fit just fine. This piece right here. I just need to cut it shorter. I'm going to fold that in half, and that will be a little bit shorter, and I need to cut some more off of that. So about like that I think will be fine. Now we're going to feed this up the same way, up in between here like this. And I'm going to leave my loop out just a little bit more and see. Put that on down in there just a little more. Yeah, I think that's going to be just about right. So I'm going to glue the big side first. And again, now on this one, because it's so large, I am going to go ahead and run right next to that paper clip just to give it some extra adherence to the paper. And I'm going to put plenty of glue on it. There. And then I'm going to set this one down right on top of it. And you got a little extra wiggle room on this one because there was so much glue on it. And there's one side done. So we're going to do the same thing on this back side. I need to get another glue stick and have it on hand because this was not quite enough. I'm going to glue right up next to that paper clip so that it won't slip any. And then backfill with some glue. I need some more. There we go. And then this one will lay right down on top of that and be just fine. You have to be careful when you're doing a lot of glue like that you don't burn yourself. Now on this one, I'm just kind of thinking black and white might be fun. Hang on, here it is. And I think I'll try to double this up and just see how that works. There we are. This one I'm going to use to hold my Sudoku puzzles together. I have a collection that I kind of work until I get them finished. Sometimes it takes me several days to finish one, but I've been needing a clip for that, and so there it is. And again, I can pull it apart just a little bit. There, and it'll slip right down on there and hold just fine. So that's what I'm working on today, and I'll get several more of them made. But here they all are, the ones that I've got made so far. And let me know if you have a favorite, and I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great week, y'all. Bye-bye.